Have you been avoiding your finances and money? Or do you have lots of ease in this area? Whatever your current situation is, this subject can be pleasurable, fun, and light. And all it takes is the willingness to have more consciousness. Welcome to the Finances and Money with Joy podcast. I'm your host, Cristina Matsusaki, and I invite you to look differently at this world.
Hello, welcome to this new episode of the Finances and Money with Joy podcast with myself, Cristina Matsusaki. And today we're going to talk about a subject that usually is unnoticed for people, which is what is money? Truth, what is money for you? Well, money essentially is a symbol, it's a sign, right? So each sign carries with itself a meaning, let's say a value. It represents something. In this case, it represents a value. And this information it carries with itself, it represents, let's say, a value for which you can change. You can exchange for an object or a good. Something you can buy with money, and it also represents the commitments you have in a deal. For example, how much money someone owes somebody else. And if you look at the society, the economies, mostly capitalist, are very centralized in money. They work with money. So it means monetary economy. So from social issues, economic, it's about the money. So it doesn't only allow you to buy, sell goods, objects, and have some services. But also, I think you've already listened to the phrase, money is time, to have a job, to have a service. And even everything that is working in a company, how much it's growing, everything is measurable by the money. So, and how much from this structure of the society makes you think that money is something valuable? See, I'm not talking the value it represents. I'm talking, what if, you're not thinking or you don't practice daily? People don't do it, thinking that money itself is something valuable. So how much power and value have you given to money? So isn't it interesting? So actually money itself doesn't have a value itself. It is a symbol and sign. Yes, we use it through paper, printed paper. So that paper is only a paper with things on it, printed on it. So I like the art on it, and I like to say art on day. So all this artistic part and also the technological part. So every line, all the information in there, this is something I like to see too. So it's another topic. So coming back to the topic, we always talk about money beliefs. So your life actually is based on your points of view and beliefs, and not the opposite. So, what are these beliefs that you have, that you created, or you have, that you have bought? These ideas that what money is, what money isn't, and actually that money isn't, but you see and bought it because you see people around you, society working like that. Like, time is money. Oh, my time is money. I can't waste time. I'm losing time. So, is it actually time is money? Alright, time is time. Money is money. Are things nothing like related to each other? So yes, you can exchange money, service with time, and also receive in something representative, not actually like a rice pack or milk. Nowadays you can receive coins and currency in the country you're working and receiving for your service. So, right? Another interesting point that we can see in this society, in this monetary society, we can say, is the countries and states and government printing currency like rice, Brazilian rice, dollar, yen, Japanese and Chinese. So the government, they print this currency. There are so many rules and control for people in the country to use this currency as money. So see, nowadays, 2022, it's so normal and common that it's even like it may not even made you think like if you were born after the wars, the big wars, maybe it wasn't even in your mind, in your world, that money can be something else other than your country's currency. Well, I think maybe my parents, they lived in maybe, well, I'm sure my great parents lived the end of the big wars, world wars. So, and even practicing, like even without knowing or realizing, money, a representation of currency different than yen. Well, in that time they lived in Japan. So different than the government currency that they printed. So imagine in that time my grandparents lived in the city, and my great dad and my great parents actually worked in the education, and they had money. And how they had money and they received money and got everything like the light and electricity without money. Well, they didn't have a lot of money, and people usually didn't have a lot of money daily. And about all these stars in their childhood, I can perceive like there was a currency that wasn't yen. It was like rice and mainly food. And people that worked in the fields, they made their own food. They made rice, and they actually had currency that actually symbolized money in the time. So they could make food or everything like from animals. They had the money also to exchange for other things and have their lives, their daily lives. So, and who had rice really actually had the money in the time. So even in the time there was a second, third black mercantile market. So that said, what money in itself is just a sign, a symbol, and nothing else more. What is it that you defined the money is? That maybe isn't, but that you've been worked from this definition. What is money really to you? What is money for you? Could it be like the activity? Or actually, what you got from the activity that you do? What is it? Is it one of the products that from what you do to live your embodiment that is creating your life? Alright, it looks like I'm going on circles. Yes, alright, so live your life and live the embodiment of your life. So yes, that's what I say. And what would it be like a life you could live, creating it from the being the author and the main person in your life, creating your future and being this contribution that you can be uniquely to the earth and to everyone and to you and to this whole world. And money, it would be one of the products or sub-products from this creation that supports, in a way, that they support your creations. And not only like money being the main thing that rules how your life has to be. Interesting, right? And before talking a bit about the origins of the words, the currency, remember when we talked about monetary economics? Yeah, monetary economy is based on its relationship and each is like measurable by currencies, all right? It's easy to imagine that before this monetary economy, that before we had like this exchange from goods, good exchange. So I would exchange a fish from my groins and my grains actually, that the other person had what it was needed and I had what the other person needed, and everything was negotiated. The value was negotiated in the time, and there was really like a market in there. And I'm sure you've already seen this kind of market. Like, have you exchanged anything like those stickers, like soccer stickers, to like candy, through candy for a chocolate, or maybe a math essay for a kiss from school, or anything? Like in this case, there was a transaction, an interest, like interests that worked, and the exchange was realized. An exchange was done. So, and have you ever asked, what if there are other economic ways and dynamics that can work? And even you can see, like maybe you saw in the movies where exchange economy existed and then money didn't exist, but maybe it existed, but in a time the representative of people would represent the other people, like, and bringing gifts, many gifts, only with gifts for the visitors, and maybe like anything that was valuable in that time, and they gifted the other people, and maybe are almost nothing back as an exchange. So what was done at the time, so was there like economics of gifting, like a gift economy? Yes, there was in that time an exchange, but the good was from one side to the other without like having expectation from returning. It wasn't like I'll give you three bulls, three clothes, and I would like to receive next winter or next fall 7 packs of grains. But it wasn't like that. It was like without expectation, but with agreement of friendship or loyalty, or the promise of cooperation. So in war times you needed other people and alliances, maybe. So it was a transaction not supported in currency or money, but I'm sure another kind of currency it wasn't with coins or money. It was not always explicit, more like a loyalty agreement, protections, promises, and sisterhood. And how much of this do you live in your life nowadays? How much of it do you still see happening? This honor, like selling honor or submission, were favors. It's really common, right? What if nothing of that needed to exist? What would actually be pleasurable to live for you? What kind of exchange and commerce and economy would really be true for you? And what if you could gift really without the expectation of having anything from that? And so on the other side, on the persons that is gifting side, without an expectation, not even a payment or people saying thank you, or like a favor, giving back like a favor, just because you can give that. And from the person receiving it, really receive that gift only for receiving, without the obligation of giving it back, without the worry of what is underneath the lines. So what kind of favor is this? Without any of that, but just receiving. That is the gift, that is. So at the end, if everything is energy, everything is space and energy, it's just abundant. and it's never gonna have a worry, right? Of lack. What if you could just gift other people and situations? Being able to contribute, not only like with money or materially, but the things that you are, your abilities, your capacities of change in the situations. Only because you can and you are what other people are requiring and in the situation requires. Because it will simply create way more greatness in each one's lives. So how would it be like this contribution for you to your life? So let's talk a little bit about the word's origins to explore what is money. So the word money comes from Latin. In Portuguese, it comes from Latin. Most of languages in Portuguese, most words in Portuguese come from Latin. So the word denarius, it was what represented like silver coins in the Roman Empire. So we're talking about like a lot before Christ. So this currency, this coin, silver coin, represented 10 copper. So the money already like existed. There was money in that time, and in Turkey, in that region, and the currency was a way to measure the exchange already in that time. And the word currency comes from probably the goddess that had this time in Roman, Moneta, Julie Moneta. There was in Capitolio. I don't know if it's still in there, buried in there. And in her time, in the capital, and it was created the money house and everything that was based in there, this precious money in the time. And it's from also other words from like money in English and everything else.
Is now the time to have your true financial reality that you've always dreamt about and you know is possible? Would you like more ease with money and finances? So join us in the new Conscious Finance program in www.chrismatsusaki.com/FC. See you there.
So the invention of money, of the currency, was really created, very interesting at the time. And it got away with like the exchange and the simultaneity of offer and demand. It didn't have to happen at the same time. Like I could have a fish right now and pay with coins. Yeah, so, and then the fisher could use these coins later to buy whatever he wanted. He didn't have to have the good I would had at that time so he could exchange his fish. So the invention of currency brought many easy ways in that time. So imagine, people, how it happened, the exchange, the transactions of goods before the invention of currency. So you got to the people creating the products, and usually in markets, in capitals, and also everyone in there, and brought the demand. People that had asked for you, hey, I need salt, I need grains, I need booze, I need clothes, and go get them. And so they exchanged the prices and calculating everything you would have from that above it. And you could have a lot of problems in there. Imagine that the person asking, you're someone in business, right? So the person that asked for clothes and 3 packs of salt had a cow to pay for it. So you brought a cow and you was going to buy the goods. So the other guy that was selling the clothes was a different person than the other guy with the grains. So would you split the cow? So after splitting, she wouldn't produce more milk. So you can't do that. So how would you do it? Would you be able so you would probably need to create an intermediate exchange to then get another exchange. So there was this individual problem that the currency fixed. So metal could be divided and measured, and all your purity, yes, your weight was defined and put as on it the value that it would value. So all these easy and commodities that this currency would bring. So all this evolving historically is so interesting. So with the time, the precious metal was exchanged by paper, and with the value many times written by hand, sometimes as a certificate of that metal that was stored in a place. And then the paper currency showed up. And in this place, even we see nowadays, and not even the paper money we see nowadays. Nowadays we have the currency without in metal coins or commodities. And what I would like to commodities, and I would like to bring in this story is the clarity in your daily life. What is the meaning that you put, the way to put of money on money? So how do I use money in my favor, in my advantage on my daily life. So it's really easy if I can take off the value of money. It's not even like the money that has a value, it's just a symbol, a sign. If I take it out of the subject, out of the table, how can I use money in my advantage, to create more in my life? So first, I can have objects and foods and everything materially using money. Yes, like even like without like, and just like leaving money in the store. If I don't leave money there, I'll probably, it's a choice. You can take the chocolate bar from my store and leave money, and without leaving money, all right? But what does it create without money? So first, I would have to have an ability to jump this structure, this transaction structure and payment for the good or the object that I use. Second, after cutting the system, maybe I have someone following me or suing me, or maybe I'll go to jail. Is this really what I would like to create in my life? Well, if not, a really easy way to have is pay with money. Same thing for services. I can, any kind of homework done or work done, if I pay, even like, and including if I would like to change any situation, a economic dynamic situation, like let's say of a business, we have many places that work with wood, really really cool, but they aren't even like, but maybe they aren't working well for our nature, like even in Amazon. What another way of dealing with this? Paying for those owners of the companies and just buy their companies. Then I can do anything with my company, right? Yeah. So it's a different way to see, a different way to deal with this company without doing this to the earth and make it hard for the earth. For this company to exist and have a harmony with the nature, or just like closing this company and invest in regenerating like the affected part of the forest. So at the end, money doesn't also get things easier, but it also may support your projects and your most crazy dreams that you may have. So what does it all has to do with consciousness, with joy, with money, with finances? Right? So consciousness nowadays about money and finances can bring actually a life that is worth it living, that is really pleasurable creating, and I would really like for you to know it. So this way you can actually have the choice to ask for it, to choose it. So for example, how could you create or practice this muscle of creating money and finances in the daily life? So let's say you got a bill in your house. You just got a bill and you look at the bill. Well, and you say, is this a bill I have to pay? Is this a problem? Or in the sense, maybe if it isn't a problem, that you're comfortable with paying with that. So, but you say, I need, it's a necessity to pay this rent. Or, oh my God, it would be so good if I wouldn't have to pay it, if I would save more money. Or, how do you look at the bill? And by the way, before getting the bill, was it a choice, a conscious choice? Your choice to receive the benefit, the service of a house, renting a house, and yes, paying with money? Was it your choice to use money? Or was it from necessity, from lack of something? From the moment you perceive it's a choice that you made, you start paying with gratitude, not only for the place you're living, but for this money flow and the gratitude for money coming out. And what else can it create? So it's as if you said, money, thank you so much for giving me this month of living in a comfortable place. And also, please, come back to me, bringing all your friends, that here you'll be well received, well treated, well thanked. So, what can it create in your life? What can it change in your life? So, there are many times that satisfactions in people's lives of money, financially talking, that people mainly don't recognize their choices around money or around their creations, creating their lives as their choice. It's as if they suffered the impact or the dynamics. They had to live in this structure and suffer from it. Was just the fact by the current situation, like without having any choice. And then they get unsatisfied with the financial situation, no matter how big are their finances, are their bank accounts. But looking at these different places and asking for more consciousness in every financial situation. And it's a tool, financial situation. It looks obvious, but if you're not asking, you're not using the tool. So ask for more consciousness. Be willing to have this practicing muscle in the daily life. So that's it, people. What is it that money means to you that maybe if it didn't, everything could flow with more ease and with definitely more joy, with a glorious life, exuberant. This is the invitation I do to all of you. A big hug, a kiss. My target is to empower and invite more people to the joy that finances and money can be. And you can know more of that through our social media and also the site, chrismatsusaki.com. And if you know of someone looking for it, let them know. Thank you very much and see you next time.